Pressure could either crush you or pressure can either make diamonds. Figure it out. Whenever you come back to adversity, are you going to crumble, right? Or whenever you approach adversity, are you going to get better for the next time? There's always two roads. You got to pick the right road.
All right. Well, welcome to a new episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. Today, we're going to be going to Los Angeles, California, and interviewing an individual with Real Broker. This individual, he is an open book, and he's just doing his thing, having fun on social media and really enjoying what he's doing. And you can really tell. He's actually going to be talking about how can you actually make additional income on one deal, and he has a family, two beautiful daughters. Welcome, Ian Michaels, to the show. Excited to have you on. Like, looking forward to diving into the tech behind, what you're doing, some of the content, pour into our viewers and listeners today. And first and foremost, you're safe and sound, man. The fires in Los Angeles, yes. Are they even close to where you're at, or?
Yeah. So as far as where I'm at, so I'm located in a small community in Pomona. Altadena and Pasadena up there was probably where the fires were. I'm about 25 minutes away.
Okay.
About 25 minutes away from what had happened.
Okay. Was there a lot of smoke, like when it was actually happening? Did you get any effects with that, or?
Oh yeah, 100%. Air quality was terrible. Air quality is terrible. And this where I'm at, I get a lot of wind too. So I literally would walk out to my car and I'd see ashes on top of my car. It was a surreal type thing that was going on. You think that some of that stuff only happens in movies or maybe like 1950 where you hear towns are burning down, but this is 2025 and this happened. Like it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. And of course, we can go into a whole rabbit hole with maybe preventative measures and what could have or should have been done. So that wouldn't have been a situation. Not to mention, I mean, come on, man. Elon Musk, rockets are flying out and coming back, landing. We want to go to Mars. We don't have like something we could just like throw in the sky and then it starts to rain. I mean, what's going on here?
Right. On top of like smart cities and stuff like that, like that we're supposed to build. Like,
yeah,
it's a coincidence, right? It's coincidence. I don't want to start there, but
we're not going to get too much into conspiracy here, not like that. But no, I'm right there with you, bro. I'm right there with you, man. So let's get a little bit of your backstory, man. I'm curious about your backstory. Why real estate? Looking forward to setting some intentions for our viewers and listeners today. Want to be able to help you. Want to be able to serve you. Want to be able to give you some things that you can take from today's episode so you can apply to your social, your Instagram, your approach, your reach out. One thing I want to say before we get into your story, I was watching some of your content. I love the fact that you were looking at beginning of getting into the industry. You were in a neighborhood and you actually, I believe it was, if you were knocking on a door, you spoke with some of the residents and they said, oh, you're trying to break into this, your new agent, like, good luck. So-and-so dominates this space, this area. And I love how for you, were like, oh, it's all I needed to hear to like go for it, and what happened with that area? Did you end up like dominating yourself or getting some market share?
Yeah. I got a little bit of market share. So that happened, I want to say a couple of months ago. So I moved into a different area and I started to market around the area that. And so that's what happened. I was introducing myself to some neighbors that have, lived in this neighborhood for X amount of years. And they're saying, hey, this one agent, he has, 80% market share. He's been here for 30 years. You're never going to get a listing here. I'm like, oh, shoot. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was about 4 months ago. I've gotten 2 listings. You know what I'm saying? In the last 4 months. Where as opposed to like the norm is whenever you start into a new area, they say usually you shouldn't see anything within the first 10 to 16 months of the marketing area. Well, I got 2 listings in 4 months. And you know what they say, pressure makes you crumble or it makes diamonds. And I'm one of those diamonds, I would like to say. And I mean, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I love competition. I love going above and beyond for that.
Hey, I'm right there with you, man. At the end of the day, I don't know who's viewing and listening out there, but who are you? Are you someone that crumbles when someone tells you can't do it? Or are you someone that says, you know what? I want to rise to the occasion and do what I have to do to make it happen. So that's awesome, man. It speaks a lot to your character and the fact that like, hey, why not? And I love the fact that like, I don't know how many individuals out there don't even focus on their specific said neighborhood. It's like there's so much opportunity just when you open your door.
So much opportunity. Literally, just open your door, go talk to your neighbors. You don't have to.
Yeah.
drive clear across town, like, hey, get some business where you live.
Yeah, I love that. What we actually just did, my wife and I, last Saturday, we did Meet the Neighbors. So we did Meet the Neighbors. It backfired, which is great because we had the city come knock on our door and give us a nice little note.
That's you're doing something right when you got people coming after you.
Dude, tell me about it. No, we have a travel trailer on the side of the house, and so we had to take 7,000 pounds of dirt out because we had to go underneath the overhang of the house, and we didn't want. I hit the house, and so I was like, "Shit!" So I went to Home Depot, got this this tractor. We're digging out the hole, making more room, whatever. Got a couple guys over at Home Depot, but long story short, we had to put in drainage. So there was just a drain hose out in the front of the house, and the inspector comes out from the city, and my wife says, "Stop. You speak too much, Norm. Just stop speaking and telling everyone our business." I'm like, I just want to inspire. This is about house hacking because our travel trailer's on Airbnb. And so they thought we were putting sewage in the street. I'm like, what? And so they came in, they checked it out. They thought that we actually had a septic because I said that, you can't get my mouth shut. But we called the plumber. The plumber's like, they're tripping. It's just a clean out. Like, it just sends the stuff from the trailer to the like the little bucket, and then it like sends it to your clean out in the front of your, like, where your kitchen is. Then it goes out to the drain out in the front. Gotcha. So I'm like, oh God, okay, no more freaking block party. Meet the neighbors, man. We're just wrestling feathers over here.
That's funny. I hope my wife doesn't see this podcast because we have that very similar story.
Really?
I was one. Yeah. So we moved into a neighborhood, a complete fixer of a property. We had to gut it, we had to put in a lot of money. And so, me, I'm like, hey, neighbors, we're doing a big project. Don't worry if you see, big trucks and big rubbish and stuff like that. Don't worry about that. Everything's going to be good. When it's done, I'll let you come inside. Like, don't worry about it. Then 2 weeks later, the inspector knocked on our door. I was like, hey, you have permits for all this stuff. My wife was livid. She was like, shut your mouth. Why are you always talking to these people?
I'm the same way, dude. So let's get into your story and talk a little bit about your backstory. So why real estate? How long you've been in real estate? You're crushing on the Instagram game. I can see that you're doing a great job just being authentic and having fun and doing skits. And I think so many people make it so complicated. So let's get into a little bit of your story and talk about why real estate and how long and how are you leveraging tech to be able to have more success.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So a little bit about me. Once again, I've been in the industry for 12 years, 2 years on the lending side. So my background is finance. I went to college. My undergrad was finance. And before I graduated, I went up to my professor, of course, just like any young man, and was like, hey, I want to make a lot of money in this field. Like, what can I do? And so my professor, my counselor was like, okay, you can do two things. Number one, you can be a financial advisor. You're going to make a lot of money just over time, right? Build up your book of business, you're helping clients, and you look up 5, 10, 15 years later, and you're rich, just like that. Or you can go the fast route. You can be a loan officer, right? You can just hand out loans, finance people, finance their dreams, their business. You can make a lot of money essentially today. And I'm like, young guy, I want to make money now. So I want to make money now. So after graduated college, started off at Wells Fargo, was doing the teller thing, then moved on, up in the ranks. And then there was Chase Bank had this program for college graduates, right? The whole United States, they picked, I want to say like 30 people, the whole United States. They had over 5,000 applications for this program. They only picked people to start this mortgage loan officer introduction program. Yeah. And so they interviewed major cities, Los Angeles, San Diego, New York, Miami, all those other major cities. Well, they only picked 5 people from LA out of 2,000. I think LA might have had like 1,500 applications, right? Wow. It was crazy. A whole day of interviews. It was wild. 2 days worth of interviews. It was nuts. Anyway, I was picked at one of those 5 people in Los Angeles. Let's go. I'm saying, yeah, did do things. So after that, they flew me to New York for 9 weeks. I did training at Chase, then I went to Ohio for 2 weeks, and then boom, was the LO, right? This was 2011, 2012, though, what I'm saying, during that time, which real estate wasn't the best. So throwing a young loan officer into the field like that with the current real estate conditions wasn't, wasn't
Mm-hmm.
the best. I didn't have the greatest experience, but I was doing a little bit of stuff. I was still relatively successful, but I found myself in the office doing work, and whenever people would stop by, pass by my office, I'd be like, "Hey guys, hey, how you doing?" Like seeking human interaction, right? But then at the
Mm-hmm.
time, Chase was like, "No, you're in your box, 8 hours a day, focus on the
Mm-hmm.
number, don't leave, right? Just cranking out." But my heart wasn't in it, and so on top of that, right? Don't get me wrong, loan officers make stupid amount of money. Like once you're a good loan officer, the cap is endless. But then again, if
Mm-hmm.
you're not as good of a loan officer, you're doing one-off deals. I took a look at some of the net sheets or the payouts, and I saw my commission versus a real estate agent commission, and I was like, "You're getting this much more than me per deal, and you get to have sunlight? Like this is crazy." I'm gonna go to the other side. And so that was 10 years ago. And sign me up. So that was 10 years ago. I got my license, and boom, been on this side for
Wow.
10 years. Loved it.
Dude, that's awesome. And congratulations. I mean, hats off to you from the perspective of like, and if anyone's watching, man, or viewing, like, if you're not happy, follow your heart, man, and like go in the direction you need to. Speaking of no sunlight, I actually, there was a time where my office was in a garage, like third level down, and I got sick because of that. So for real, go get some
Ooh.
sunlight. But yeah, man, that's awesome that you said, you know what, I'm gonna follow my heart, go in this direction and do this. And what a freaking awesome like story to like think that you're gonna have something so magical and amazing, and then you're like, okay, this is not for me.
Nah.
Nah.
Yeah, life is way too short, man. If you don't like a situation and saying you can't change your attitude towards it, then change your environment.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. So then you went into real estate, got into that, and then how did the beginning start with that? Did you just automatically find like a team to be under? Did you go to like a specific brokerage? Like, how do you navigate?
Yeah, which is a great question. I think now that I'm looking at it from the outside looking in, I would have joined a team. I would have
Okay.
joined a team. At the time, I was young. I was like, hey, I can do this. I don't need any help. Plus, I don't want to give a portion of my commission. But now, when I think about it, I'm like, man, if I would have actually joined a team from the start to my career right now, I would be light years ahead. You know what I'm saying? Once you're joining a team, you have that much more years of experience
Yeah.
backing you. You have better systems, better models. Instead of having to figure it out yourself, you have the answers to a lot of the questions, to the test that you're taking. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I learned the hard way. The first year struggled. You know what I'm saying? The first year I sold 4 houses, right? One was to my mom, so it didn't count.
Shout out, mom.
Right. Shout out to mom, right? Being one of my first clients. Actually, wasn't my first client. She said, hey, mess around with these other people first. Then I'll help you. The following year, you know what I'm saying? I sold 4 houses again. But as I'm doing that, I'm still, getting my name out there. I'm still hustling. And then the third year, I sold 12 houses and then haven't sold less than 12 houses ever since then. I think I would put my success to this. My third year, I finally decided to, number one, have a coach. You know what I'm saying? $1,000 a month was a lot, but hey, quadrupled my income for sure, my first year.
Wow.
And then the second thing is I got an accountability group. I linked up with other people that are trying to do things on a big level, and they held me accountable. You know what I'm saying? I had to pay X amount of dollars if I didn't hit my goals that I set out. And then because of those two things, my income skyrocketed.
Dude, that's awesome. Congratulations. And yeah, it's so true. It's so true. They keep saying it. Get a coach, have accountability partner. And it's funny, this morning I was talking to my wife about that, and she's like, yeah, you just got to hire a freaking fitness coach. She's like, you're just not happy. And I'm like, thanks, honey. I appreciate you. But it's so true. Like, if you want to get to that next level, I feel like, it happens to the best of us. It's so easy to get comfortable, oversight. And then the worst I feel like is ego.
That's what it is, man.
It's like, oh, no. I got this, what do you mean? Like, I've been at 2,200 calories. I'm good. Like, I'm working out 6 days a week. And then she's like, did you see your form? I'm like, oh, you gotta do me like that?
Right. Ah, come on. Who's having a good time?
Honey, but it's true, and it's like sometimes you got to face the music out there, and I'm hoping someone's listening right now and can say, like, you know what, like, that's true. Maybe I need to hire a coach or have accountability partner. And if you don't have the money, I mean, who knows? Maybe you can go to a networking event and find someone who's on the same track you are. I don't know.
100%. Bare minimum, get an accountability partner. Very
Yeah.
minimal.
Yeah. 100%. I love that. I love that. So now you're real estate, found the coach. You went Mike Ferry. So you're banging out the calls? You weren't even, because Mike Ferry doesn't
Oh
coach,
yeah,
but Tom Ferry
yeah.
does on tech.
Oh, 100%, 100%. So I initially started off. This was, like I said, this is about 8 years, 7 years ago, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
I went Mike Ferry, so tough, thugging it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 100 dials a day, door knocking,
Damn.
100 doors a day, 100 doors, 200 a week. You know, stuff like that. So, was it tough?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Did I see the results? Yes, also. But now I'm transitioning into a different way. You know, real estate
Okay.
change, operation changes. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm more of a lovey-dovey, nurturing, smarter, not necessarily physically harder Tom Ferry guy. 100%.
Interesting. And when you went from the dialing, seeing success with that, but then like now transitioning to the tech side and doing more of like social media and videos and showing yourself so people can almost like on autopilot build know, like, trust, right? Like online, and then they could like send you a DM or, I have a question, Ian, what have you about real estate, or who knows, maybe even join your team. What did you see when you shifted?
Yeah, I whenever I made that shift, I saw kind of like what you just talked about. People already know, like, and trust you, even though they haven't met you in person or anything like
Yeah.
that. But your presence on social, your presence through the text messages, and then even like I said, just being a regular human, checking in on someone. Hey, how you doing? Simple stuff like that. No knock to Mike Ferry. Mike Ferry's very regimented, very boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Down to business. And some people love that. Don't get me wrong, but in my opinion, most people want you to be a human first than actual business person. And so when I made that transition, things were a lot easier. I had more of a come list me calls versus come interview for the job type of call. You know what I'm saying? That felt like they knew me because of my presence on social and other tech platforms versus like, hey, who are you? Like, why should I hire you type of thing? You know what I'm saying? When I saw that transition, I'm like, damn, why didn't I do this from the get-go? This is a lot easier to operate during this business. And I'm super grateful for Mike Ferry. He's produced, once again, more multimillionaires than any other coach ever. But I do feel like, business is ever changing. Business is ever changing. There's always a shift. And I'm very happy, very grateful for, Tom Ferry, his protege.
Yeah, exactly. And it's cool. You have to have the yin to the yang. And it's interesting that you said, and what stuck out for me from that segment was like, there was a shift from making phone calls to going to an interview for it being kind of like transactional to like them already knowing you and liking you and trusting you and already making their mind up that you're the guy. Right. Instead of you needing to like go prove yourself and you're one of 5. So tell me your value proposition here and how you help me sell my house for top dollar. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Totally different, man. Totally different. And like I said, I'm extremely grateful for both sides because at the end of the day, you can be a likable guy, but you still got to know how to talk. You know what I'm saying? You still got to know what you're talking about. Still got to know how to ask the right questions in order to discover what the client actually wants and what the client actually needs, because sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't fully understand the situation. And I feel like if I didn't have both of the worlds, right? The Mike Ferry coaching, the Mike Ferry questions, the drilling down, and then the Tom Ferry nurturing, things of that sort. I feel like the combination, the marrying of the two makes me, you know what I'm saying, that much more better.
I love that. Yeah, it's very true. Like being able to navigate the conversation, but also be able to autopilot, build know, like, trust with the social content and what have you, and have them together. I absolutely love that. I think anyone who's viewing and listening can take that to the bank. I'm curious. So when you're putting out content and you're thinking about what you're going to put out next, and there's different ideologies. Some people say you got to go through and have like a content calendar and schedule out what you're going to post, and then maybe have a day where you like do batching and all that type of stuff. Others are like, I just go off cuff. Like if I'm at an open house or I'm doing this or I'm doing that, my wife's there. Hey, honey, take the camera. I'm going to go, do this funny skit or whatever. What's your playbook? How do you play the social media game and make it so it works for your type of, flow?
Yeah, I think, of course, each structure is different for everybody. Right. I would say in my earlier years, I would do just that, sit down, write write things down like, hey, what do I think the consumer needs today? What do I think are the hot topics in today's market? Write it down, and then boom, 4 or 5 videos, knock it out, yada, yada, and then move on to the next, right? Now, in today's ever-changing climate, number one, I'm now a family man. I have 2 girls. You know what I'm saying? Life happens. You know, my schedule is really, hey, here's my set schedule, and then here's what actually happens type of situation, right? So a lot of the time, my batch content, you know, saying scheduled batch content doesn't happen. So I have to actually work around life and then make content around just that. You know what I'm saying? So it could be a situation where I'm taking my daughter to gymnastics. I'm like, okay, cool. She's in gymnastics class. I have, you know, 10 to 20 minutes to talk about X, Y, and Z, right, before she hops off. Or I'm in the car driving home. You know, I do have I don't recommend this. I do have a Tesla, so it does self-driving, so I can shoot videos while it drives itself. It is pretty scary still, but like I'll come off a call with a client. My client will ask a question like, "Hey, Ian, what do you think about X, Y, and Z?" Or, "Hey, here's a situation that I'm in. How can you help me out?" And literally, I'll end that call and be like, "That man, that was a great call. I think that more people need to know about this specific scenario." I'll go ahead and shoot a video 5 minutes after I have that call. And I'll say, hey, you know, I just had a client that had a question about closing costs, right? What happens in the situation where closing costs only cost $10,000, but you're able to negotiate a credit of $15,000? What happens? You're not able to use that $5,000 towards your down payment, right? That's illegal. You can't get a check at the close of escrow. That's illegal too. So what has to happen is you're going to need to reduce the purchase price to be able to use that, fully utilize that $10,000 that you really got. So I'll say that, and I'll say, yeah, I have a client that's in this situation. There's been plenty of times where I hang up the phone call, do the content, and then literally my client be like, hey, was that video about me? Like, it's funny, bro. It's happened multiple times, but like I said, based off of my life and how I'm running it and how life is, you know, forcing me to operate, I have to really create the content around situations of life. And as real estate agents, you have content everywhere. It doesn't necessarily have to be about a specific deal. It could be about, you know, hey, I just had this, which is my favorite piece of content moving forward. Hey, I just had this great burger from this local burger stand. You know what I'm saying? What are your thoughts on, you know, a peanut butter and jelly burger? You know, stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, where you're actually in the dining situation. So that's how I'm operating right now versus, you know, how I operated before.
Dude, super smart. And I really like that concept because before we got started, I was talking a little bit about like life by design. And so you go with the flow and you go what's been given. So gymnastics as it is. You got to go take care of the daughter. You got to drop her off. You have that time slot. You just got off a call. Why not put out content? I think that's the cool thing about social that I love is I'm big on stories. And I'm one of those story whores. Just to be honest, we're on Unleashed here. So I'm always just day in the life, talking stories, what's going on, good, bad, and ugly. And when certain circumstances come up, it gives me more of that inspiration or that energy of like, I gotta get this out there. I gotta put this out there. This topic was be interesting or whatever else. And I love that. And I do see too, I have Adam Hancock, he was on our podcast, and he has the Florida relocation. He has a YouTube channel, and that's what he did with his YouTube channel. He literally was like, okay, start with YouTube, film the content, questions come in, next topic, YouTube video.
Easy work.
So we can inspire some people right now, right? They're like, yeah, sure, whatever. But did it work? Did it really work? So what was like a success story that you had with a video that you did off the cuff because of a call or a client or someone that inspired you? You put it out there, and what was the outcome?
Yeah. So I'll give you an example. I think it happened. It's actually one of my pinned videos on my Instagram. If you guys want to check it out. But literally, I had someone come in. I did a home tour of a property, right? And I said, hey, here, check out this property right here in Long Beach, California. It's 700,000. You know, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 700,000. Here's a down payment, yada, yada, yada. Then I had someone give me a call, say, hey, I really love that property. I don't know if I can afford that payment. How do I figure out how to afford that payment? And I said, oh, easy, got you. All you got to do is go to this one website, a mortgage calculator, plug in the numbers, play with it a little bit. It'll spit out what a mortgage payment would look like. Now, of course, interest rates are changing daily, so I would recommend that you come to me for that example.
Yeah.
But this is how you figure out a mortgage payment. Just like that. And so I spit out that video. I think like maybe, I don't know, plenty of people shared it. I know that much, but literally
Yeah.
I had two people specifically. I remember two people called and said, "Hey, you know what? Thank you for doing that video. I was looking at this one property and I thought it was way more expensive than I initially thought. I did the mortgage calculator and it's within reason. Can you show me this property?" And I got a client based off of that one video of me explaining how to figure out a mortgage payment coming from a call from a client.
I love that. I love that. You know, and I think that there's something to be said too, from the perspective of just like being proactive with it. And like some people, you know, it's like self-sabotage. They're like, you know, my eyeball's crooked today, you know, or you know, I'm not liking what I'm wearing, or you know, I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed, you know. And I love how you were like, no, like this is a perfect opportunity. And there's something to be said with like kind of like momentum. So as soon as you get the ball rolling and you keep, like my wife and I were talking about this today, it's like, you know, when you're in a specific call, like, okay, cool, going to a formal listing presentation, or someone sends you a DM and you're like, you know, you're like a basketball player, you're like a professional athlete, you're like in the zone, right? And you're just like feeling it. And then when you're like not in the zone, you're kind of like, oh man, like I haven't got a call today. My social media is not hidden. I'm sure someone out there can relate, right? So it's like staying in the zone. And I love how you, like, even before we got started, like bathroom break. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Before we got in here. But yeah, I mean, it means so much more to the success of the outcome of your business. Anyone viewing and listening out there, if you could just be in the zone and pretend, even if it's not good, that it's good.
Yeah, it's all psychological for sure. Even though it's not good,
Dude,
like you said, just pretend and it'll be
right?
good.
Right? You're like, oh man, I put 120,000 in this house here. Like it's great. You know, it's like we get so caught up in thinking to ourselves, like we forget like the things that we've done to get where we're at today. And like, hey, it's not always about the next thing, the next car, the next house, the next clothes. Then it's like, what about what you got?
What about what you got? And so it's really tough for people like me and yourself, like aspirational people, like, you know what I'm saying? We have much success today, great
Yeah.
success. We came a long way,
Amen.
But then, you know, we don't settle. We're like, damn, like we need to be right here.
Yes.
Then you're like, hey, right, as soon as I'm right here, I'll be happy. Then you hit that number, you're like, damn, there's
Yep.
another level.
Yep. Dude, it is. Yeah, my wife and I are talking about that too, because we do a little house hack, and we had some guests coming from Airbnb, and we have two little boys and a family from Mexico, actually, because they're here playing soccer. And the one little boy's all, how do you afford it?
Wow.
I was like, okay, all right. Like, and it's cool to have contrast, I think, at times, right? To have people that come and go into our lives where then we can get out of our own head and actually get some contrast from a second or third party. And once they come in, they're like, dude, that's a sick Tesla. Man, you did a lot with that house. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, then you're like, oh, I did.
Yeah. Then you're like, oh shoot, yeah, I am that dude. I am cool. You know.
It's so true. Love that. So how do you keep in the zone? Like, is it that you're using technology like a CRM system that is automation? I know your social media is out there helping you keep it flowing, keep it moving. What do you do if you get into a state of mind where you're like, man, I'm just not feeling it?
Right. And so once again, I'll be fully transparent with you guys. I do struggle.
Yeah.
Struggle with stay in it because in my heart, like I love real estate. I love what real estate can do for people. But at the end of the day, I'm a people person. At the end of the
Amen.
day, like I am motivated by people, not necessarily money, which is, you know, I think it's good that I'm motivated by people, but not by money.
Yeah, I'm right there
But
with
it's
you.
also like it's really tough because at the end of the day, you got to pay bills, right?
Yeah.
So it's really tough. It's really tough because you know I just put, like I said, I put a lot of money in this house. I just bought a new house, so the mortgage is up there. Like I gotta, as much as I want to make people laugh and smile, I still gotta pay bills. You know, so my feelings are up and down. I say all this shit. My feelings are up and down. But at the end of the day, business needs to happen. So there's a lot of stuff that go on in the back end as far as like my CRM. So I do have a CRM. Right now I'm using Lofty, and literally a set it and forget it. So I just read a quote also that said, you know, forget your feelings. It's be systematic. You know what I'm saying? Forget your feelings, do it anyway. Right.
Ah,
You have a system to where I'll input it into my CRM and
yeah.
it'll automatically send out text messages, automatically send out emails,
Okay.
automatically prompt me to call X, Y, and Z. That way, you know what I'm saying? I don't just have to wake up and like, oh shoot, what am I gonna do? I don't feel like it. No, that CRM is my boss. That CRM, I wake up, that CRM said, hey, Joe Blow needs a call today. Follow
I
up with
like
Susan.
that.
Nancy needs your input on X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have a system on the back end. You know, I do the social media thing. I love it. I can now take that relationship outside of social media, right? And then you're able to nurture them automatically, right? Without you having to try automatically in the back end of your CRM. So I do have an automatic CRM.
I love that. That makes a whole lot of sense and makes it so whether you want to do it or not, you got those tasks set and you're like, okay, I got to make that call. Okay, I got to send out that text message. For me, I love the live and die by the calendar. And I use like calendly.com for a lot of my calendar appointment meetings and what have you. And so that's more on the sponsor of our show. Big shout out to Lift Off Agent. And so then I have times where I'm like, man, I'm just like, but then you're like, all right, what do I got going on? You're like, oh, I'm back to back. All right, like here we go. And then like I feel like this like human to human interaction, like it almost like when you're sometimes like not feeling it, it just takes you back and you're like, all right, I'm ready. Cool, let's go. That was a good meeting. I'm feeling better. Off to the next. Let's go.
Yeah, human interaction with good people, right? So like you have a great energy about yourself. I love that. Even I saw it even through social media, which is why we're at where we're at today because I can.
I appreciate you.
A lot of the times, there are people out there that don't have the best energy, and those are the people, coincidentally, that are always like, "Hey, you never pick up your phone. You only answer text." Yeah, that's a reason because I'm high. I'm high right now. I need to get things done, and I can't be low. So I'll text you.
I love that.
Call.
I love that. And it's so true. If anyone's viewing and listening out there, you have those people that give you energy and you have those people that suck your energy out. And there's some calls you get off of and you're like, I'm fired up. I got more energy than I went in going in that call. And there's other calls you go into and you're just like, honey, can you talk for a second? I'm
right.
really like, I got off this call with this client and I'm just, I can't right now.
Can't, right?
It's so true, but that's true too. I think that one thing that I think a lot of individuals are missing that, on the tech side, right, is that it's one thing to be on social media or to have a website, get on social media, whatever, for like social online proof. It's another thing to like get on stories, do like what you do, like the role playing, the skits, so people can actually get into who are you? What are you about? Like, do I want to get into this call or do I want to talk to this person? And is this person going to be the exact same person as I see online, or is this person going to be someone else? And so I always like to make sure that I exceed expectations. So when I do meet anyone in person, it's just like, oh shit, he's just like that. And, or like, oh wow, he has even like better energy or more to offer or whatever, right? Like you seem like just like the same way, like meeting you now, it's like just like what I see online.
Yeah, I try to make it that way. But it's pretty tough because as you can see, like I do a lot of funny content. I'm saying I like to make people laugh, but I also want to let people know that I'm a professional.
Yeah.
I'm about my numbers. Even though I like to, be funny, there's nothing funny about your money. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing funny about your money.
That's
so it's
true.
Funny, like there'll be instances where I'll do a walkthrough with somebody, I'll make them laugh, and I'm like, but also too, did you check the termite up there? There's many issues with the termite. Here's how we can overcome that obstacle of the termite inspection. Have you heard about this? There's funny people like look at me like, you got two different personalities. Like, no, I just try to be serious with your money type of stuff, but also like to have fun at the same time.
Oh, I like the navigation of that. I haven't really thought about the fact that like, yeah, there is something to be said about joking around, having a good time, keeping it light. And then when it's like time to sign on that dotted line, it's like, okay, now we need to make sure we cross the T's, dot the I's, don't miss any of these check marks. Okay, cool. We're good. You're good. All right, cool. Now we can joke around. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. It's interesting. It really is. I never had someone that I think I played that role really well. I never had anyone that didn't take me seriously and kind of wasted time and thought everything was a joke. Never come across that, thank God. And at the
Mm.
same time, people that, you know, thought were funny, yada, yada, came to me and said, hey, you know your stuff. I know you're out there. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I trust you. You got my attention with you being funny, but you kept my attention with you being the professional that you are.
Ooh, I like that. That reminds me of that quote. People forget what you said and did, but they won't forget the way you made them feel. So the funny is the feel caught their attention, and then they start building that like trust, and then okay, let's get real down to business because yeah, nothing fun about it. Funny about your, I like that. It's nothing funny about your money. I'm gonna save that one.
Yeah, ain't nothing funny about your money, right? It's funny that quote that you just said by Maya Angelou. I looked that up last night because that's a quote really that I live by.
Yes. Yeah, me too, man. 100%. I love that. And then there's the 7 triggers to yes, you know, like it ties into that what I just said. There's the secrets to the millionaire mind is like, hey, you know, you have option A, you have option B. I want both. You know, there's just these quotes that over the years you kind of remember. And then there's another book, Exactly What to Say, the 27 words to get anyone to do anything that you want them to do, just navigating that conversation. I met the author Phil last year at Neil's, what is it, the Ford event. He does it in Vegas every year. So really good stuff there. So I want to dive into, in this segment, I have your Instagram up here as I look at it. I love how you say over 100 million sold, now it's your turn, and how you also like to help real estate professionals hit six figures. So it's one thing to be coached and have that success to hitting 6 figures. Now you want to help others. And I see that you're at Real. So this is a good question, I think, for people out there that they want to get in real estate or they're currently in real estate. And maybe they're thinking, I'm at a Keller Williams, I'm at a Remax, I'm at, you know, whatever, right? And now they're thinking about shifting to a cloud-based brokerage, you know, just to make this neutral, EXP, Real. How do you balance that? You know, how do you balance that? And at what point did you say, okay, I'm not just going to be self-sufficient or self-servant. I'm going to now serve agents, and I'm going to start to do something with maybe building a downline. And what does that look like?
Yeah. So that's a great question. So even ever since that I've considered myself to be one of the, or not me considered, but ever since that people reached out to be like, hey, you know, I think you're a great real estate professional. You know, I'm trying to be like you, or yada, yada. I've always had a helping heart, whether that be to help homeowners or to help agents make money. Because I'm a very firm believer in what's meant for me is meant for me. Me giving the information to the next agent is not going to hurt my pockets, right? It's not going to hurt my pocket. I want to see everyone win, whether I be a homeowner, whether it be another agent, another broker. I want to see everyone win, right? So I've been that way for 8, 9, 10 years, right? Been that way for the most part. And so it's played a part with people seeing that. I'll give out tips. I'll give out tricks. I'm very helpful. People seeing that, and they come to me saying, hey, help me do X, Y, and Z. Help me put food in the family. Help me buy my first house. Help me get out of this debt, you know, things of that sort. So wherever I've gone, I've been to Keller Williams. I brought agents over to Keller Williams, and it still helped them for free. You know what I'm saying? I've been to other brokerages, brought them over, helped them for free. I want everyone to win. I want everyone to win, right? But at the same time, like, I want to feel appreciated, and I want to feel love for, you know what I'm saying, helping other people want to win by company, right? Because if I'm bringing them in, if I'm helping them win, I'm at the end of the day helping the company win. Like, I would love to feel appreciated. I would love to feel appreciated. You know,
of course.
I feel that right now at Real, they do that. They appreciate, you know, the agent that brings on people and helps them sell, because, you know, in order for a downline to work, they have to sell. They have to bring in revenue. Revenue share, rev share doesn't work unless you got some revenue, you know? So that's my biggest thing, you know what I'm saying, is number one, helping other agents, you know, bring in, you know, X amount of dollars, helping them hit 6 figures. Because it's, you know, bless you, everyone else's heart, you know what I'm saying? They're able to make a certain amount of money in other states, in other places, you know what I'm saying, good, healthy living. But in California, they say, in certain parts of California, if you're making $100,000, it's still poverty, which is crazy, right? So like my job is to help everyone win. You know what I'm saying? Help everyone get themselves a house, get themselves
Yeah.
out of debt, start their investment firm, whatever that looks like. And once again,
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like the place that I'm at right now at Real, they
Mm.
love that for you, and they show appreciation by doing so.
That's huge. That's huge. I like that too, because I think that there's something to be said when you know, if you're at a said brokerage and someone comes over and you're helping them and you're not expecting anything in return unless you have that structure, and you set that intention beforehand, it's almost easy to be like we talked about earlier in the show, you know, practicing that gratitude, you know, being happy and thankful and grateful for where your feet are at today. And with now being at Real, I can imagine it's almost like a no-brainer, because of course you want to help them become successful. They want to be successful as well. And now it's already kind of the intention's there. Like they already know that you are going to basically get rewarded for that. And then they will as well as you grow that process, and everyone wins.
Everyone wins, man. Everyone wins. I really love the places or companies that show appreciation, right? And to
Mm-hmm.
me, nothing shows a higher appreciation for what the company does than offer, equity inside the company. And so
Yeah, that's
I
huge.
really appreciate that. I really
I love
appreciate
that. I love that. So then following up to that question, to balance, like how do you balance, you know, your own business and also then maybe your downline's business, so then you can ensure that they're also winning and having success?
Man, the ultimate question right there is balance, the ultimate balance. And it's super tough. It's
Mm-hmm.
super tough, don't get me wrong, because once again, you want to help others win, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't pour, or you can't give 100% of your time to people, because at the end of the day, you have bills,
Mm-hmm.
get paid too, right?
Exactly.
So I've learned, what I'm saying, I've learned that you need to have a structural balance. So like what my day looks like is, for the most part, from 9, I would say a little bit before 9, right? So like realistically 8 o'clock. 8 to 12 is totally my business.
Got it.
My business from 8 to 12. I'm focused on my buyers, my sellers, my real estate teams. I have real estate teammates. I'm figuring out how we can make this thing happen for ourselves, right? From 12 to 5 or 12 to whatever. Even from 12 all the way to, I picked up calls from some of my people that needed help at like 6 o'clock in the morning,
Wow.
7, right? But I have a specific time from 8 to 12. This is me time. This is me hunkering down, working on my business, so that I can focus on you from 12 to 5, right? So you got to be really regimented. You definitely have to be really measured, because revenue share is great, all that information is great once again, but at the end of the day, if you're relying on that to eat, saying, you can't force other people to sell real estate. You can give them all the coaching, the training, and all the tools that they need to be successful, but at the end of the day, they still have to run it themselves. They still got to do the work. And so until I'm at a point where I have enough people that, maybe 25% of them do the work all the time, and it'll still pay my bills, and I'm in my business.
Yeah. And that actually ties in nicely with what I was going to say next, because that is true, right? Like, how do you see it. You see these agents that are like getting out of production because they have a large downline. And then you start to see these individuals putting out courses, maybe even coming up with kind of like light marketing companies where they're like now helping the agents do different things, or some have like video photography, and they'll do like, oh, we'll do the videos, the photography, we'll do the editing, and then they're like making money off that. So it's so interesting how you can navigate the process of being able to do more than just transact. And this goes directly into the next question I have for you as I intro the show, because we are getting closer to the end of the show now, is like, so how do you help basically maximize basically the deal so you can get paid in different ways from the same deal?
Yeah, 100%. I'm huge on that, right? I'm very huge on that. Number one, because whoever gets paid on the deal, especially for the real estate, a lot of the times the real estate agent are the ones that are bringing people into the deal, right? They have a client, they're bringing into the loan officer. If they have a seller, they're bringing in the escrow company. Saying that they have a buyer, they're bringing in the home warranty company. The list goes on. Saying the buyer needs ADT. I'm saying? They're bringing in that rep. The buyer needs solar. They're bringing in that rep. You know what I'm saying? So my big thing is all about reciprocity. You know what I'm saying? we as a professional, we're
Mhm.
doing, we give, especially real estate, we give, but it's we don't ask. We have to ask. We're in a partnership. It's
Ooh.
not just a one thing. We're in a partnership. I'm helping you make money. I would like for you to do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So there's instances where, I built referral businesses, referral partners, what I'm saying, to where if I'm referring them business, they're able to, contribute to the cause as well, right? So like
I love that.
I want to say about 2 weeks ago, I got paid 4 different ways from a buyer, right? Number one, the buyer wanted solar. So the solar company said, hey, thank you for that referral. Got a referral fee. The buyer needed security, right? The buyer needed security.
Mm.
House. Security companies out there give them referrals, right?
Boom.
The loan officer, didn't give me any money because that's illegal.
Keeping it real.
We do have joint marketing ventures, right? We do have joint marketing ventures, right? Said, hey,
Yep.
normally I would give, the buyer, a nice little gift for closing celebration, stuff like that. The lender gave the closing celebration gift, right? So that was that. Let's see, that was 3 ways, right? I think the fourth way, that was a teammate. So now, what I'm saying, I had time, but I didn't have that much time to where I can focus on 1%, 100% on a specific client. So I referred the client to my teammate. So now my teammate closed a deal, right? They gave me 50%. And with the company, what I'm saying, the company gave me rev share because I introduced that agent into the company. So I think I got paid 5 ways actually.
Wow.
On that deal. You know what I'm saying?
Dang.
Which is crazy, right? Which is crazy. Normally it's like, okay, cool. We closed the buyer, boom, hands off. Like that's the end of the day. No, we got to figure out how we can make this motivation, what I'm saying, this locomotive, this train go, right? To be able to receive income, because we can't just continue to give. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's super smart. And if you like that and you took some notes, you're gonna take that to the bank, you can thank this man. Thanking it. And so this is interesting. I want to take it to the next level because we're on Real Estate First Technology with tech. I mean, imagine the opportunity of having a SOP, a standard operating procedure, where you could utilize technology and your website and a page on your website where you can have a video that talks about the after close process to maximize your safety, security, call it what you will, for your home. So then basically you send it's a part of your standard operating procedure. Viewers, listeners, even Ian, here you go. This is what I specialize on the sponsor side for Liftoff Agent. This is where this is how I get my jollies. So you have a page, you have the video, it intros the page, you have an intake form, they click the things that they want. Solar, security, landscapers, cleaners. What about life insurance? That's a huge one, right? Boom, 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 boom. Then when they click all those things, then below the fold, you can watch an actual video podcast with the vendor that you already premeditated of the person that you do business with, so they can then understand who the person is before they meet the person. Then they can automatically book that appointment with that said company. Now you're on autopilot, freaking helping these people 5 different ways every single time, a part of your standard operating procedure.
Oh, that's game. That is game right there.
Hey, that's the sponsor, bro. That's the sponsor. That's Liftoff Agent for you, bro. But you know what I'm saying? It just that way people out there can be like, oh, I could use tech. I could use video. I don't have to say nothing. It's just a part of my standard procedure. And then I can retarget the folks that go to that page that didn't do anything until they do something. Then I can call them a week later and say, hey, did you fill out that form? Because I want to make sure that you're healthy, you're protected, and you're saving and all the things.
I really love that. I really love 2 things, right? Number one, it's an automated system, right? You do it one time, it's an automated system. So like me, I'm literally every time, what I'm saying, making these introductions, having these long drawn out calls where I can just send them a website, fill out a form, and boom, boom, boom. The work is done for me seamlessly, and I can just move on to the next venture, right? I love that for that. The second reason is these people need these services anyway. They need these services. It's a protection for them. Like you said, the home warranty, the life insurance, definitely need life insurance. You need to trust all these things. You know what I'm saying? and rather just going off the top of my head, oh, did I talk about this? Did I talk about that? Did I talk about that? We have a seamlessly process that we just implement into our business. I love that.
Yeah.
That was gold.
Huge, man. And that just came off top, because we had a guest on the show that is in mortgage, and when the market's not doing as well as we're seeing, buyer's market, things are sitting a lot longer, what have you, interest rates, they're not the worst in the world, but they're not the best. Definitely after COVID. I saw your video podcast. if you're a real estate professional, video podcast, just freaking just dropping bombs as far as one of the things was like, interest rates. Yeah, sure. Let's go back to freaking COVID. That was fun. So he was on the podcast, and that's what he does. He uses life insurance to supplement his income from mortgage. They work hand in hand. So that's where I feel like anyone who's out there right now, that's something to take in consideration. And that's why we have this show to pour into and to serve and to support. And that's probably gonna be my next video now. I'm gonna have to go deep on that thought process now, after we just did like a mastermind on the podcast for our viewers and listeners.
Literally. That was dope though. That was game.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I love that. And that's where I feel like a lot of individuals forget that, like, everything is premeditated, man. And it's just like putting together a vision board and looking at that vision board and being like, hey, I'm going to achieve these things. Well, in contrast to, hey, I'm going to achieve these goals for the client that they didn't even know that they had, that I'm going to help them be able to achieve, because now they're not just protected, they're not just saving on their energy bill, they also are setting themselves for financial futures where if something happened, God forbid, then they have the life insurance that pays for their, well-being if they can't work, or if, God forbid, knock on wood, they pass on, they're leaving a legacy of money behind, and the house is paid off, and it's a part of their, the will that they have and the trust that they have, that's, for their kids and family and friends or whoever they have in the will, to be able to take advantage of the opportunity of them being proactive and just meditating on that.
Man, I love that. It's all for the client. We got to figure out the best ways and the most ways how to serve the client. And that's what it's all about. I love it.
Man, Ian and I might have to we might have to talk after the show sometime and talk about how we can put this together, man. We might have to put this together for you, and then you let us know how it works. You'd be maybe a test subject, and then we'll be like, hey, we'll just do this for you, and then you try it, and then if it works well, then I don't know, we might have to talk to Real or something.
Right, hey, we're on to something. And you're on to something, man. I'd love to help.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it's about. It's about collaboration, I feel like, and people forget about, because they think about competition or whatever else. And it's like, the only competition is me and myself, and that's it.
Man, that's the only competition. I love that. I'm a huge advocate for collaboration over competition. Two reasons, right? Number one, I think I mentioned it earlier. What's meant for me is meant for me. What's meant for me is meant for me. So the next person can't really take what's meant for me, because I'm going to get mine no matter what. Number two,
yes,
even if you talk to somebody about it, even if you encourage them to do something, number one, they might not do it still, right? I still do it. And then number two, they're not going to do it as good as you, right? They're not going to do it as good. Right? I love sharing. Because even if we get in a competition and you beat me, great. I love that. I'm going to get that much better. And no one's going to beat me.
Dude, dropping bombs. I love that, man. That is so true. It's so true. At the end of the day, hope you're all taking notes here, okay? You can only remember 10%. So I'll go back to the podcast and take some notes, take it to the bank, because there's a lot of freaking golden nuggets here, man. It's been amazing. So as we get closer to the end of the show, I'm not sure if there's anything specifically you want to cover or you want to talk to our guests and viewers here on the show. I'm also kind of curious, you said something at the beginning about a tour, and then of course at the end we want to drop that golden nugget. So how do you want to navigate the end of our show as we get closer to the end?
Yeah. I think we can just touch on this collaboration, right? I really love the collaboration idea, whether it be right here with Liftoff, whether it be with me. I am building a community because, once again, I love to help coach, train, and help agents make six figures and above. But I have a certain amount of time, a window in order to do that, to be able to, still pay bills on my end.
Yeah.
So reach out to us. I have a community that I'm building up. It's called Next Level Agent that I'm gonna start pretty soon. Right? Coach,
let's go.
Community. So yes, reach out to me. Reach out to my guy Norman here, and then let's figure out how we can best serve you. Right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're gonna help serve you. You're gonna give us some stuff. It's gonna be a give and take, and we're all gonna push to the top. I have a business called SYATT. and it stands for see you at the top. It's not, hey, I'm looking down at you. It's not that. It's not, hey, I'm looking up to you. It's see you at the top, because I want everybody to win.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. That's some knowledge right there. So as we close up, put bookends on it, what would you say would be the last piece of advice, the last golden nugget, a quote that you heard that you just remember to this day? What you got for him?
I think we would just go back to the pressure quote that I said earlier, right? Pressure could either crush you, or pressure can either make diamonds. So figure it out, you know? Whenever you come out to adversity, are you going to crumble, right? Or whenever you approach adversity, are you going to get better for the next time? There's always two roads.
Ooh, I like that. And I'll add to it, as you were talking earlier about collab, it's the pressure that you encounter within the passions that you desire that will help you grow to new levels, outside of the pressure from the responsibilities and the why me and the 9 to 5 and the tough times because you can't pay bills that you wish you could. That there's two different sides of it, right? The one side is like pressure that gets you to the top, and the other pressure is like stress that kills you. You got to pick, because life is going to be hard either way. Choose. What do they say? Choose your hard.
Choose your hard.
Dude.
Choose your hard.
Ian Michaels, has been an absolute phenomenal podcast. I really appreciate your energy, your light. I appreciate you speaking into our viewers, our listeners, your time. You obviously have a servant's heart, because if you didn't have a servant's heart, you wouldn't waste your time here for last past hour to be able to add value. So thank you so much for your time today, man. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. Like I said, these people, I feed off of great energy. You know what I'm saying? It really lifts my day, and you really lifted my day. And I really appreciate that. I don't say that about anybody. I don't, but all good spirits, I give props when props is due. So thank you for having me. Thank you for doing a great work with this podcast.
Amen. They don't call me Mr. Liftoff for nothing.
I like that. I like that.
To all of our viewers and listeners, a big shout out to you for taking the time to stay with us for an hour. Watch on YouTube, stream on any streaming platforms, as it is our intention for you to take things from our show to have massive success and apply it to your business. God bless. Take care. We'll see you all on the next one.